Well, I wanted to ask you a little more about the run and shoot. What led you in the offseason to decide that this might be something good that Navy can do?
We got to improve in the passing game. We're all option guys. Like I said, our staff's been together many years. I've been involved in option football for 34 years, since playing for Coach Johnson. So that part we're not worried about. But we got to improve as an offense. So there's some stuff we feel like in the passing game. And so I just looked at different people, different people did. And I just feel like this was something that could kind of match what we do, try to fit in. We're not going to lose our identity. But we also can't have 11 guys playing man-to-man. I mean, up on the line of scrimmage.
Right. You have to have
like
a
corners.
passing threat.
Corners don't even watch the wide receivers. They just safeties are. Everybody's playing the run. So we gotta make people pay, and they just everybody plays for play action. So that was the thought process. So just thinking about different people, different things. My son's at Hawaii, so just discussing things, just schematically things that they did, and I felt good about some of the things they did. Unfortunately, I got to see their stuff
firsthand.
Start the year last year, and they're always one of the top passing teams in the country. But I knew I didn't want to throw the ball 50 times.
Right. I mean, you're not going to suddenly become Hawaii.
Right. So we need, our option game adjusts. It morphs into whatever you play defensive. We don't have to call 900 stuff. It just morphs by the blocking scheme.
Right, and also based off what you're seeing with the defense. Whatever the defense is doing dictates what you may do. Right.
So a lot of it morphs. And I want the same thing in the passing game.
And that's what run and shoot is?
Right. So, you got to read coverages. You got to we can't put 400 passing routes in our offense.
Right.
But, 2 routes might look like 10 with all the different variations on coverages. And so I've learned more stuff from this guy in the passing game in the 8 months he's been here. And then the 5 years I've been in college football. He's really smart, young man. I can call him a kid. He's a young man.
Billy Ray, we're talking about.
Billy Ray
Stutzmann.
Billy Ray Stutzmann is been around great passing minds, and he's a star. He's a bright young star in his profession.
So I'm going to talk to him, but he probably played for June when he was a receiver at Hawaii, right?
I think he played a little bit in June and a little bit after. I think he did.
And then he's been coaching under the current coach who brought back run and shoot.
Right, and he played at St. Louis. You know what I mean? And under the Lee brothers, if y'all throw the ball. His brother, Craig Stutzmann, was a really good, player too. So you got a long history of the passing game in the family. Right.
So I had always heard that when Johnson was at Hawaii, there was run and shoot elements, and that Hawaii threw the ball. It wasn't the triple option we saw at Navy wasn't exactly what he did at Hawaii. Is that true?
It was different.
And it had more passing elements?
It had more passing elements. And it's, basic stuff, but when you got the option game, you'll see vanilla stuff on defense.
Right.
And, so it allowed us to be, run and shoot stuff, the basic stuff. And that's kind of what we're doing now.
Right. And isn't that the whole point of why Johnson put the slot backs up on the line of scrimmage, so they could be a factor in the passing game?
Right.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the whole reason, as opposed to Wishbone where they were in the backfield. Right. So without giving away, now I saw in the scrimmage.
That's all I'm going to tell you.
Right. Well, just now, I know we won't give it away, but you saw, and I think this is what you're talking about based off coverage, you saw before it even happened, this play was going to be open. You even yelled at the quarterback, throw it to so-and-so, and it ended up in a touchdown. Yeah. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Well, unfortunately, I won't be behind him.
Right.
You'll be on the sideline. Throw it to him. And no, not him. But no,
Malcolm has to make those. But
Malcolm's in the
that's your point, though, is that you can almost see by the way that the defense lines up what particular routes might be open.
Yeah, and that's in any passing offense. But, the West Coast, they have 100 routes in there. We don't have, we can't put in 100 routes. We have some base routes that adjust to coverages. And it might look like 6 routes that we might have, 6 routes that looks like 40 routes because of the different variations.
Right. And so I was going to ask you about Billy Ray. I mean, obviously he's a first-year assistant. He is still a somewhat young guy. But how much responsibility are you giving him? I mean, I don't know that you want Billy Ray Stutzmann to come in and start telling Ivan what to do, but at the same time, you brought him
Ivan,
in here.
I mean, it shows you the humility of Ivan, one of the best offensive coordinators in the country. He's had a ton of success as a coordinator, as good as any offensive coordinator, quarterback coach in the country. He is the best option coach. But all of us recognize we needed a passing guy here. It'd be like going to Hawaii and having to put in an option.
Right, they would need to all ask you,
or Washington State to put an option. You can watch off tape and kind of see, but you don't know the intricacies.
You need a guy who's been in it.
Right. You need somebody that knows the ins and outs of it. And this kid's sharp. He knows everything.
So you're giving him a lot of leeway.
Pass protection, he knows it all. He can coach from, the wideouts, the protection, the quarterback's reads. He's done it. He's coached it. Been really pleasing, but also he's a great recruiter. So here's a total package I was looking for. A young guy that's going to hit the road, and he's ready to make an impact there. He's a great teacher. The quarterbacks love him. But it shows you Ivan. I mean, what does Ivan have to prove? He's as good a coach as around. You know what I mean? A guy with a big ego might say that, but we're just trying to get better, all of us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's our goal.
So the bottom line is that you brought Billy Ray in here to help you develop this run and shoot element of your offense, and you're going to give him some leeway to do so.
Big time.
Right.
So we spend a lot of time in the off season with him. A lot of times we'd go visit other people and we'd take notes and we'd come back and
it's not the same.
it's not the same.
Right.
You need
A guy
somebody
in the room.
Right. It's just like when people come and visit us and they go leave and you watch them on tape. They put in some parts of it, but it's not the same as ours.
Right. So it must be fair to say that he's somewhat become the passing coordinator in some ways. I know he doesn't have that title, but is
Probably. I mean, just in our stuff. Yeah.
as you try to put this in, he's kind of the guy overseeing, making sure you're doing it.
But again, a lot of it is morphed into Ivan, an established, one of the best coordinators in the country, recognized, we're all listening, we're all ears. How can we get better?
Right.
It's kind of your comment to me in the press conference. What are we doing? These are the things we're doing. Being humble. How can we get better? You know what I mean, Wags? Just more than anything you can say, I think what we're doing shows we want to win.
Right.
Come in here, brother. What do you got? That looks great. We'll decipher it. We'll ask them questions. I don't know if that worked. These are covers you see. But when you want to win, you're willing to put away your ego to make sure that you win.
All right. We're here with Billy Ray Stutzmann, his new assistant coach in Navy, working heavily with the passing game. So I guess let's start with this. John Ursa would not be the player he is without you, right?
Oh, goodness.
He never made it to the NFL.
I don't know if you could put that all on me. I mean, there's a lot of guys that worked with him throughout his lifetime, and he put in the work to get to where he is. So
Right.
I can't take the credit for that one.
I'm only kidding. So wanted to talk to you a little bit about the coach wants to bring some elements of the run and shoot, implement that so the Navy's better in the passing game. And you have been brought in to help with that since you played in the system, coached in the system. Can you kind of just tell, coming in here, what did you feel your responsibility is? What did Coach Niumatalolo say? This is what I want you to do?
Well, first off, I'm not here to change the offense. That's first and foremost. We're a triple option team. That's going to be our base. And, I'm coming here giving a new perspective. But, Coach Niumatalolo, he got me on the phone and basically said, hey, I want some new concepts, some easy throws, just kind of dink it and dump it here and there, kind of get our athletes the ball in space. And, so I threw some ideas out on the board, whatever stuck we went with, and that's kind of where we're at today.
Right. That's why Navy's not trying to be Hawaii, which is going downfield. And I mean, what did you probably average last year? 50 passes a game, maybe?
Oh, shoot. Probably somewhere between 40 and 45. So, yeah, it was a high volume of passes. We're still pretty solid in the run game, but, we're known as a passing team. So coming here, it's a little different. We're known as a running team, just kind of expand the playbook just a little bit.
Right. Well, obviously they have to get teams to back off because what they saw last year in particular was teams were really starting to commit 10, 11, 12 to the run. Mm-hmm. And if you can't throw the ball and back them off, it's a problem. So basically, I guess, without giving away state secret, you're kind of just looking at certain routes. You're not trying to incorporate the entire run and shoot package that Hawaii might implement. You're trying to find what works here. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. Yeah, you nailed it right on the head. We're here. I'm going to bring in, a couple more concepts, maybe 5-6 concepts that are new to the program. And then, really, once we're in the offensive staff room, I mean, there's ideas getting thrown around everywhere. Coach Jasper, I'm learning from the greatest,
Right.
Coach Jasper, Coach Niumatalolo. So it's, going in that room, at first it's a little intimidating, having those guys with so much experience, and then they're just so inviting. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whose idea it is. As long as we win, we're coming out on top. That's the main goal with us.
Right. And how do you think it's going so far? Because obviously this is all brand new for these guys. You got receivers and slot backs doing some different things than they've done in the past. Blocking, I'm sure, is different. And then, of course, the quarterback, last but not the least, is got to change his whole concepts of things. How do you think it's going so far as we get closer and closer to the opener?
I think these guys are really picking up well. We introduced it in the spring, and really they took it to heart. They bought in, had a great spring, had a great summer, and they came back and they're working their tails off. Not just on the field, what you see, but in the classroom with the film, in the weight room. They're working on all aspects of the game, and it's actually all coming together really well. Some rough spots here and there. Got to clean up some of the details, but all in all, I mean, they're picking up very well, and I'm impressed with what I'm seeing so far.
How come I'm doing a little thing about the run and shoot concepts that Navy's incorporating into the offense? What do you think of it? You like it?
I do like it. It's going to help us out a lot during the season. Keep defenses honest, which we had a problem with last year. So I like that a lot.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, part of this is that, teams like Army and Air Force that play you all the time are going to commit 10, 11 guys. We remember what happened against Air Force. There was nowhere to run yet. Right. If you had this in your bag, you could have said, hey, you're not going to respect the pass. We're going to start throwing it around a little bit. And so this, in the end, can help you, Malcolm Perry, and the rest of the running attack. Can you talk about that?
Right. It's going to help the whole team. So, like I said, it's a simple concept. We're still working on it, getting all the details ironed out here. But it's definitely going to open up the running lanes, which is what we do here at Navy. So.
And how do you feel? I mean, this is to make this work, you have to be comfortable with it. You have to be able to feel you can make throws. You have to be able to read things. And I'll ask you about that in a second. But do you feel comfortable in this system? I know you're still learning and developing, but you're starting to feel comfortable doing what they're asking you to do as far as this concepts?
Right, really comfortable. He's throwing a little wrinkle in there here and there.
The defense, you mean? Yeah.
Right, so it gets a little confusing. But as far as my reads, I'm really comfortable. It's just full pads. Linemen are here, so just getting used to that.
Well, that's why the coach had indicated it's very similar to the option in that what you do with as far as the routes that are thrown or the pass you might throw has to do with what the defense does, how they react. So there is some reading involved with this, right?
Right. It's like the triple option with throwing the ball. So it's exactly the same thing, actually.
Right. So which is, I guess, in a way good because it fits some of the mindset that you have, right?
Right. It's not a totally different concept with passing the ball. So it's making the same reads, applying the triple option to the throwing game, and getting used to finding those people in coverage.
So have you thought about when you get this implemented and they have to drop back into coverage and all of a sudden there's nobody in front of you and you can take off and run for a touchdown?
Right, exactly. That's a great feeling.
I'm serious. That's going to happen probably.
Exactly.